Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to have been able to do some service for Srila Prabhupada. We always wondered whether his movement would go on after him, and it seems like it has. And now, listening to you, I have some faith it will continue to go on. These are, as everyone has noted, trying times. The coronavirus has not only removed one of my best friends, but put us in this very interesting position where we can't relate to each other on a face-to-face basis very well anymore, at least for a while, because we're all a danger to each other. This is our situation now in America and around the world practically. I don't ever remember anything like this ever happening. There was a flu epidemic in 1918, but that just killed a lot of people. But this prolonged idea where we cannot be together in a physical way. So we have to find the spiritual way to be together. That's our mission. I've been asked a number of times what I think Krishna is up to, because it happens because somehow either Krishna wanted it or he allowed it to happen. But we have to, as devotees, maybe not figure it out, but try to utilize the energy of the negative to achieve a positive result. With this situation that we're in now, I can see some of the ways that if we actually come to terms with the problems that we have, we meaning the whole human race, then a lot of the programs that Srila Prabhupada gave us will be vital. Prabhupada once summarized our movement in a few words. It was when he was traveling around, in the very early days, traveling around Europe and the world with Shyamasundar as his one of his aides. And Shyamasundar was typing things out and mailing them. We didn't, this is pre-internet, almost pre-computer days. And he would type out a little newsletter and mail it out to the temples. And because Shyamasundar had a kind of stream of consciousness way of writing, it was a little hard to know where, he talked and Prabhupada began. But he was quoting Srila Prabhupada, and he said, preaching is the essence, books are the basis, utility is the principle, and purity is the force. And I thought, wow, is that ever a great summary of our movement? Preaching is the essence, to preach Krishna consciousness. Utility is the basis, engaging everything in Krishna's service, just like this microphone and this giant screen in front of me, and something that's bringing me all your faces from all different places around the world. That's utility. If it can be used in Krishna's service, you don't reject it. Preaching is the essence, books are the basis, utility is the principle, and purity is the force. I wrote it down and put it on my bulletin board, and when Rupanuga, who was my GBC, came, he said, well, that's pretty good. Where is that from? And I said, well, it's this newsletter of Shyamasundar. I realized not everybody had time to read them. And I showed him, are you sure that's Prabhupada? He says, oh yeah, that's Prabhupada. Because there was no punctuation marks. It was Shamasundar was doing away with him. So I've always found this to be our kind of instructions from Srila Prabhupada, what to do. And then when ISKCON ran into some trouble, and dealing with that trouble ended up putting me on the GBC, some people were saying purity is the farce instead of purity is the force. But now I'm almost forgot where I was. So our job is really to carry on Srila Prabhupada's mission and take whatever is happening in the world around us and accept it as, our environment. It's there. Some things we can't change. But how can we engage everything for Krishna's service? Utility is the principle, and therefore we've never hesitated to accept technology when it can be used in Krishna's service. If it can't, then we ignore it. And so we're using this technology today. The other technology is messing us up because you can see what has happened with the misuse of technology. You can see what's responsible for global warming, for the pollution of the oceans, for so many bad things. And that's also technology. But it's the technology you can't use in Krishna's service. So this technology, it occurred to me that this communications technology is a way, even now we have this coronavirus around us, that we can associate with each other, and we can. I mean, it's really better face to face. So there's something there that passes among people when they're meeting together physically. But this is pretty good. It's better than there's been before, as far as technology goes. And so, because Prabhupada wanted, you see what Prabhupada did, Krishna consciousness movement was pretty much restricted, first of all, to Bengal, and then to large parts of India. And it was really the pioneers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur who had this vision of spreading it around the whole world. And they used technology. Prabhupada used the printing press. Bhakti Siddhanta actually started with the printing press. So much of what Prabhupada has done, not just technology, but sometimes social organizations. Like, for example, Prabhupada made this institution with what he called the Governing Body Commission. To an American ear, that has a very British sound to it. And it turns out, one devotee told me that there's a place in London where the office is there that has a plaque on it. This is the office of the Governing Body Commission. That was the group of British civil servants and politicians that ran India. That's what the Governing Body Commission was. And so that organization also was something that could be used in Krishna's service. So when Prabhupada said utility is the principle, so we have to take all of these together, Books are the basis. And so, first of all, there were Prabhupada's books in which he wrote in English and tried his best to explain everything. And I think any communication mode will be good for that. And you can do it in a way that other people can understand you, to communicate. And he and Bhakti Siddhanta, had the printing press. That was like a shrine practically in the Gaudiya Math, the printing press. And now we are here. Purity is the force. So we should work on that purity. Uh, uh, the formula for Krishna consciousness is also, in many ways, quite simple. Uh, that we should chant the Hare Krishna mantra while following the four regulative principles. It's really simple. Notice how, like, the Hare Krishna mantra is simple. All of Vedic knowledge is there, but there's three words. You don't know any Sanskrit? Hare Krishna Rama. Easy enough, right? And especially to me, when we chant japa, it's a very simple arena. When we chant japa, there's you, the holy name, and your mind. And Prabhupada writes that the yoga system deals with the mind. It's all about the mind, the subtle body. And I think while we're here in quarantine or whatever shape we're in now, we have to deal with the subtle body. Wherever we go, it comes with us. In fact, the subtle body has come with us through many lifetimes. Because when you transmigrate, it's not just the soul that goes, it's the subtle body. God knows what's in there. We've had it for so long, you don't know what's lurking out there. And so here, where you have this arena, yourself, the holy name, and the mind, you chant the holy name so that it, as it says in the Bhagavatam about devotional service, it dissolves the subtle body of the living entity. So that means the subtle body, which has all that karma and all that junk in it, you treat it like this. And the treatment is simple, that you have to honor the holy name. You have to respect the holy name. That means you have to pay attention. Inattention is disrespect. When somebody wants your attention, they're talking to you and you're looking everywhere else, winding your watch or whatever you're doing, that's disrespectful, or as we say, offensive. And I read, there's one thing that Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that really struck me, that he said, inattentive while chanting is the offense from which all other offenses spring. So that is what the Germans call the Schwerpunkt. That's the place where you go. That's where when you do martial arts, there's these places in your body. You hit them and the guy dies. So this is where you have to. They're called marma. Actually, in Ayurvedic medicine, they're called marma. And in the Shishastaka, marma hatam karotva, make me brokenhearted, we translate it, but he hits me in the marma, those fatal pains. So we have, this is the place, the Schwerpunkt, this paying attention to the holy name. Give the holy, because Krishna and Krishna's name are the same. Huh? Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nityamukto Abhinatva Nama Namanaha. When it's describing the name, it has all these properties. It's complete, it's pure, it's eternally liberated. How can it have these simple syllables, Krishna, all these incredible potencies in them and properties? Abhinatva, because of abhina, non-difference, namana, between the name and that which is named. When I was a graduate student in religious studies, one person said once in a class, he says, the real issue isn't whether or not God exists. He said, the real issue is God available? And it struck me then because, yeah, if God exists and isn't available, what difference does it make? So the question is God available? And when I discovered the Krishna consciousness, this is how God is available. Very accessible. those who practice Astanga yoga, they go to the Himalayas, they sit in ice caves, they work so hard. In Christianity and others, you read about different saints, how much they do to get some kind of vision of God and some association. So it's been made easy for us. Let us not waste it. It's such a benediction, such a thing that we've been given. Let's not waste it. And so that means that every time we sit down to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we pay attention. The mind wanders, we bring it back. When we do that, we're showing Krishna that we're interested in a relationship. Once the holy name really reveals itself, the mind is glued because it's all attractors like Krishna. You can't not think of Krishna. So we have to come to that point. And we have to become ultimately Krishna's instrument in full. And there's not one of us who can't do this if we just apply ourselves. And if you look at the whole thing, from beginning from Ador Shraddha up to Prema, you say, but just take that next step. If you're willing to take the next step, Krishna shows us the next step. Take that step, and then you'll see the next step. And take the next, don't hesitate sitting on this edge, for like 45 years waiting for something to happen. And then the time of death comes, you say, Jesus, I blew it, Don't do like that. So that's what, and the world needs it, because when there are Krishna conscious people, things begin to change. I think things have started to changing already. I can start to see now how Prabhupada's vision, for example, of local self-sufficiency is going to have to be something we're going to have to get into, because you can see how the climate is changing, how the oceans are polluting, how it's overheating everywhere. It's all because, of this globalism, an improper globalism. Well, why, so he wants local self-sufficiency. But that doesn't mean that we also can't be united in other ways, like using the appropriate technology like the one we're using today. So I think there is a plan. Prabhupada, told us this is supposed to be a golden age of Krishna consciousness after Lord Chaitanya. And maybe was questioned whether it began with Lord Chaitanya's birth or the 500th anniversary. The different pundits said different things, apparently. So we are in what is supposed to be a golden age of Krishna consciousness. And the more we become Krishna conscious ourselves and give it to others, share it with others, the more our own Krishna consciousness will increase. Because that will give us all, not just Srila Prabhupada, but all the lineages of our spiritual masters and great devotees, the 6 Goswamis, they'll all become happy with us. And when they become happy with us, then they really help us out. That's how the mercy flows, when we please those people. So that's just my plea today. I thank you so much for your involvement in Krishna consciousness, and I'm trying to do everything I can do with what little bit I have to help. And if you can do some more, I'll also get some credit for that with Krishna too. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gauranga Prabhu ki jai.
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 Srila Ravindra Svarupa Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
And now I would like to unmute everyone so they can also say, Srila Ravindra Svarupa Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. Happy
Right.
birthday, Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Hari
Yeah.
Hari, Hari Hari.
I think we have perhaps a
Hare Krishna, Ravindra.
Hare Krishna.
Happy Vyasa Puja.
jai.
Happy Vyasa Puja to Ravindra Svarupa Prabhu.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Happy Vyasa Puja.
So I think we still have a few minutes, if that's correct, with Shraddha Devi's blessings. We can have, maybe if there are some questions, you can raise your hand or mention that you have a question in the chat window before we have to sign off. I'll make sure that the proper people are unmuted and their video is up.
Okay.
Right now,
All
I'm
right,
trying
go
to.
ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Is that Haryashva Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Oh,
please go ahead.
Ravindra Svarupa Prabhu, oh, it was on fire, you know, and you went there with all the gifts of Prabhupada, with the trying times right now. You went straight at the holy name. You went right to that process. I find that one of the biggest strengths I found from you is that no matter what happens, I told you, you're able to cut on the lights. And today you're explaining to us that, you know, and I want you to explain further, that it's right there in the holy name. If we just take advantage of the gift that Prabhupada gave, that you're continuing to give, that you're all giving, but it just doesn't come easy. You know, I mean, I've been begging to you for help in a better situation. I just don't know how we can get steady. You know, it comes sometimes, but you say it's simple, but it seems difficult to cross that point to where every day that relationship with Nam Prabhu is a conscious one, where you're conscious, where you fight and you don't let the mind take your way, which is required if we're going to move on to be used in a better way. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you can just explain, because when you get to that point where you're trying, but somehow these obstacles don't even stay, they just frustrate you. What do you do? How is it that you just have to develop a certain tolerance? I don't know. Maybe you can share that.
You don't, am I on? You don't quit. And even if you quit, you come back. You get back up and you keep going. That's the only thing I can suggest, is you don't quit. Remember the three, you know, there's offensive chanting, chanting on the clearing stage, and pure chanting. Now you can't get to the pure stage right away, but you can immediately get to the clearing stage by just trying, by just, and when your mind wanders and you bring it back, that's the clearing stage. And things will happen if you just persevere. I have to apologize to Krishna. Look, you know, this is my mind. I don't know what's in there. So much garbage is there. I don't know how it got in there. Please forgive me. Please help me. You can chant with the holy name, to the holy name, for the holy name. It's like all those three are available. So that's also the intensity is there, and just don't stop. You persevere, you persist, and you will find out that it will gradually become better. Something will happen. You know, the stars change. Your mind is sometimes good, the mind is sometimes bad. You go through different periods, you know. I'm in an astrological period. This is I'm in a major period of Ketu and a minor period of Rahu. So guess what, you know? So I'm trying to take advantage of all that bad stuff. And try to get some positive results from a negative energy, you know. And so that to me is just what you have to do. Just don't quit. And if you do quit, get back into it again. Get up again. And then Krishna, if you the determination is there, Krishna will give you the strength. Make something will happen. And the other thing that's encouraging to me is that my realization that what Prabhupada said some things to make to understand that the future is objectively fuzzy. Krishna knows this will happen in the future, but whether I do it or somebody else does it or that's a little fuzzy because we have freedom. And that freedom means that even for God, the future is indeterminate to some extent. He's omniscient. He knows it. He knows, but time is real, so he knows the future as the future. Because he says, "Time I am." I mean, it's one of Krishna's powerful energies. And Prabhupada says to us, he said to us, it is inevitable that Lord Chaitanya's mission will come over the world. You do it yourself and take the credit. Otherwise, somebody else will. So that means that if you do it, or somebody else will. So that means that we do have that ability to actually change the future. And if we care about ourselves and also about other people, having that power, which very few people have, we will be able to change the future.
Srila Gurudev, may I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving your association and for all the things you've said. Probably because my faith is not so strong, I have to ask this question. It seems like many, many devotees around the world have been doing many of the right things for a very long time. And at the same time, almost like at the beginning of Krishna book, when Mother Earth complains about the heaviness of the forces of the demons, it feels like the demonic forces are very, very strong right now. And, will we get an avatar like Krishna always promises, yada yada hi dharmasya? Is this our team? Is this all we get? Is this all we have? Or is there an avatar coming to right the world?
As far as I know, Krishna is, Lord Chaitanya is that avatar that has come for Kali Yuga. And certainly he can send many more empowered devotees or other people who descend. They're not God, the Shakti Avesh avatar, maybe not be in the category of God, but the category of good devotees. If our desire is strong and the strength of our desire is determined by how hard we try and how hard that even if we have a fall back or fall down or slow down or whatever, we pick it up again. Krishna will send those people that we need to help us. And I've seen it happen a number of times. There was one time I saw the whole Hare Krishna movement was on the brink of like destruction, I thought. And then I could see that Krishna made his move. Just one thing, and that was it. Just amazing. So our message to Krishna is the sincerity with which we're trying to become better. And anyone who's seriously trying to become better is good, is not bad. Just that sincerity, even though there may be so many faults and difficulties, but you keep sincerely trying. And I think that's within our power. And if we sincerely try and the desire is there, he'll help us.
Thank you very much.
You too can save the world.
All right, Krishna. All right, Gurudev, thank you so very much for attending and speaking to us. And I understand you've got plenty places to go and things to do. So I wanted to take the last opportunity here and thank all the people who sponsored today's event, making this possible. I want to thank Shraddha Devi for coordinating things. And
He really worked hard.
she always does. And I would like to give everybody another opportunity to say Jai, Hari Bol, happy birthday, and all that sort of thing. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hari, Hari Bo, Hari, Hari Bo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jai Gurudev.
Happy birthday.
Jai Gurudev.
Haribo.